start, and they're also one of just two sides who are yet to concede in this Champions League campaign. Inter are the other. But it's a sellout crowd here in North London. You're listening to BBC Radio 5 Live. We're also available on the BBC Sounds app, and as I say, through the BBC iPlayer as well. It's a good atmosphere. It's being aided as well by those Atletico supporters. And it doesn't matter the allegiance of the red and white supporters inside the Emirates. Those red and white scarves are now being swirled around the heads of every fan here, it would seem, as Arsenal get us underway. And they'll be playing from left to right, and it goes straight to Raya, and he kicks it away downfield. But it's met by the head of Le Normand, who repels it with a firm header away. Arsenal again go long, flicked up in the air then by Barrios, and eventually it comes down to Llorente, who plays the ball out wide towards Barrios on that far side, and now picked up by Alvarez, who had Sorloth going ahead of him, and quite a frenetic start in the opening 30 seconds or so.
Yeah, both teams battling away there, couldn't really get control of the football, could they? Sorloth looking, trying to get down the side of Gabriel, couldn't get the ball released to him.
George has just said we've already been to Aaron for that goal. I must have been watching the light show. Either that or my computer was a little bit late in giving, is it?
I think you were logging in, weren't you?
Yeah, wouldn't accept the QR code, I don't think. Anyway, we'll keep you abreast of what's going on as Timber casually flicks the ball forward towards Saka on this near side, and then back to Timber, who's short of the halfway line, goes infield towards Saliba. Zubimendi, Arsenal almost at a walking pace. Zubimendi, who's been booked in his opening two games, so like Declan Rice, they're both on a yellow card tonight, would mean they'll be suspended for the next game. Zubimendi might have just been caught by Koke, who keeps on going. 33 years of age, and his record is ongoing as well for the appearance maker for Atletico Madrid. This tonight, his 695th appearance for a legend, really, when you consider that he made his debut at the Nou Camp back in 2009. I mean, that is some effort.
That is incredible, isn't it? But I tell you what, he's lucky there not to get a yellow card. He did catch Zubimendi. Zubimendi was first to the ball, kicked right through him. I think a little bit later on in the game he would have picked one up. From
that free kick, it's out towards Saka, being tracked by the Slovakian international Hanko. Rice lifts it forward. Timber has stayed forward. He's here in the penalty area, Timber. The angle is tight, and in the end he just ran out of room, and he hits his right hand with a palm open wide into the ground in frustration. Just couldn't get the ball across, as Diego Simeone, with the trademark big black puffer jacket hanging around by the thighs, back on the touchline after a touchline ban after his antics at Anfield landed him in hot water, although they'll hope that the hot water is back on tonight in the dressing room, as Arsenal win the ball on that far side. Diagonal ball, Ezra on the stretch couldn't get there. Timber was following up, early ball towards Saka, overhit and picked up by Jan Oblak, and it remains 0-0 in the opening 3 minutes.
Already Arsenal look like they fancy this right-hand side. Timber and Saka getting the better of the Atletico defence on a number of occasions.
And Timber away from a sleeping Hanko. Saka with the cross, and he's cut it back from the byline on the right-hand side. Hanko's coming under a lot of pressure. He's got Saka to deal with, and Timber at every opportunity is also getting high.
Yeah, and also Eze's drifting over to this side, and then that just allows Declan Rice to play balls at will, doesn't it?
They signed him, the Slovakian international, 26 million euros from Feyenoord in the summer. As he gets the ball now, as it's swept across to him from Jose Maria Jimenez, the Uruguayan international defender. Only made his first appearance actually at the weekend, the full 90 against Osasuna after a calf injury. Here is Eze, away from Jimenez. Eze with the shot, loops up in the air, hits the crossbar, comes down, and then wide from Declan Rice, right-footed volley down into the ground. Simeone is going absolutely apoplectic. Atletico Madrid are lucky to survive. Arsenal almost had an early goal.
Well, it's in that area we've just been talking about, isn't it, Deno? He just drifts to this kind of right 10 roll as it shifts it onto his right foot, and he hits it. He hits a takes an awful deflection off the recovering defender, and Oblak is absolutely scrambling for all of my life. I think it's dropped in, comes off the bar, forces Declan Rice, who tries to hit it on the half volley, doesn't quite get it right. And Atletico live to fight another day.
Yes, they do. They conceded early, actually, at Anfield. In fact, they conceded early twice at Anfield. Inside the opening 6 minutes, they find themselves 2-0 down. Llorente got 2 goals, though. They fought back, but Van Dijk popped up with a 90th minute winner. But 5 minutes played in the stoppage in play, and it remains 0-0, but Arsenal close to scoring. But there's been another goal at the county ground in League Two. Ross Heaton.
In the fund of the equaliser as they chase the win that would move them top. League Two's top scorer Aaron Drinan with a tap-in for his 9th of the season. 20 gone, it's Swindon 1, Notts County 1.
BBC Radio 5 Live, also available on the BBC Sounds app. 5 minutes played here. Newcastle United, Benfica, Villarreal, Manchester City. We'll keep you in touch with as well elsewhere in the Champions League involving the English sides. And tomorrow more Champions League commentary as from Stamford Bridge, Chelsea against Ajax. And in fact at the weekend we'll be back at Stamford Bridge for our 3 o'clock kickoff. Chelsea against Sunderland, Manchester United, Brighton and Hove Albion at 5:30. So a lot of live football to look forward to on 5 Live as Arsenal are attacking with Martinelli, and he wriggles away on that left-hand side, but the referee has said the ball had gone out of play. Another goal at Millwall, Aaron Paul.
Millwall 2, Stoke 0. Again it's off the left-hand side, again it's a ball from Tiano Ballo. This time Tristan Kramer, left-footed, near post, able to loop it over the goalkeeper Johansson. Fabulous finish, Millwall 2, Stoke 0.
Well, that would take Millwall above Stoke City into 3rd place in the table, as Atletico Madrid gave the ball away. Up towards Sorloth though now, and a break could be on here for Atletico Madrid. And a free kick has been awarded, but Diego Simeone is in the ear of the 4th official, because I think he wants a yellow card from the Italian referee David Massa to be shown against Lewis Skelly. And once again he is extremely animated in only the way that Simeone could be.
I'm just seeing a rerun of Lewis Skelly, and he does check the Atletico attacker. Simeone has got a great eye because he spotted it on the other side of the field. But you mentioned what he was wearing early on, Deno. He's already stripped off, he's got a suit on, and his movements are so iconic. The sidestep and the arm sweep, isn't it, up and down the pitch. He kicks every single ball with his players.
And the look is always the same. It's the black shirt, the black suit. As a ball fed into the path of Sorloth, goes away from him and is scooped up by David Raya. In fact, the player who was impeded was his son, Giuliano, who's 22 years of age and is one of the 2 changes that has been made. But I don't think that was necessarily about the father seeing his son spurned. That was all about his the team, and once again he's dancing down the touchline. He's a captivating watch, is Simeone. Ball played forward, aimed towards Timber, and Atletico Madrid will deal with that. How's it started at St James's Park? Early Barber.
Still goalless here, but Newcastle enjoying a lot of the ball, and they've started to work it into dangerous areas. Lovely move down the right-hand side just now. Baltamada putting the ball in behind for Murphy to cross it, and Jacob Ramsey just about to pull the trigger. Brilliant foot in from Antonio Silva. Newcastle corner, still Newcastle 0, Benfica 0.
Mention that Arsenal are one of the 6 sides that have won both of their opening games. Paris Saint-Germain are one of the other ones as well, and they are now leading in Germany by Leverkusen 0, Paris Saint-Germain 1. Villarreal are actually ahead of Atletico Madrid in La Liga. They're at home to Manchester City. John Akers.
8 minutes gone, Villarreal 0, Manchester City 0, but Manchester City have had the best chance. Within 30 seconds, Savinho scuffed his effort. Haaland maybe could have hit it earlier. Villarreal 0, Manchester City 0.
Another chance for Arsenal. It was Saka away down the right. You've highlighted it quite early, Glenn. Atletico Madrid have a weakness, and Arsenal are looking to expose it time and time again on this near side as they play from left to right.
Yeah, well, Sacco just skips past Hanko like he's not there, and it's just about the delivery. Fortunate for Arsenal, it's Koke, the experienced one for Atletico Madrid, that's there just to head it away.
Ball played through the middle. Martinelli had drifted in off the left touchline into a central area. That back line in the blue of Atletico Madrid just squeezed it out. Llorente. This is Barrios now in the centre of midfield. And the ball is played out wide for this near side by Nico Gonzalez to David Hanko.
Well, with 9 minutes in, Deno, and this is the first time they've managed to get the foot on the ball. It's been absolutely frantic from an Atletico point of view. It's about almost about staying alive. Arsenal have been dominant, haven't they?
Yeah, they have. Barrios touches it. Jimenez Lenormand out to Llorente on the far side, and Llorente, because of Martinelli's presence, has to go all the way back to Jan Oblak, all in green, the Slovenian international goalkeeper, away towards our right. Here is Jimenez once again, who just floats it across towards Hanko, takes it on the chest over the halfway line, hits it for the willing run of Sorloth, but Saliba goes with him, and Saliba uses his strength and his expertise just to marshal that ball safely out of play for a goal kick, 0-0.
Yeah, it wasn't a very good ball up to Sorloth down this left-hand side, was it? Bouncing high. And Saliba just uses that advantage. He's easy Sorloth under it. Doesn't leave the Atletico striker with an opportunity. And again, Arsenal are in possession and attacking down this right-hand side.
And here is Timber, and he's over the halfway line. It remains 0-0 on 5 Live. That's Glenn Murray, who's with us here this evening. Timber now waits for Zubamendi to come on his outside. Spanish international runs back in field, being tracked by Gonzalez. Declan Rice now will take over, just drops into the centre circle, and Luis Skelly has come into that inverted role. Midway through the Atletico half, Rice wanders alongside him. The ball goes back. Now it is with Saliba, who's on the halfway line, right of the centre circle. Left of the centre circle is Gabriel. Alvarez, formerly of Manchester City, who scored 13 goals in 11 Champions League games since the start of the 23-24 season, was looking to put them under pressure. The multi-ball system is in operation, so as soon as that ball goes out of play, the ball boy tossed it into the direction of Saka as it goes back to Timber, and still patrolling that technical area is Simeone. As the ball is hit up towards Martinelli, gets a blatant push in the back from Llorente, but the Italian referee hasn't seen it, and Atletico will get a throw.
Well, I don't know how he hasn't seen it, Deno. I can see it from up here. It's a complete shove of Llorente in Martinelli's back. The referee has nothing to do with it. Letting a few things go so far.
On that evidence, I would say that David Massa would have missed Millwall's opening goal too.
I'm not sure about that, Deno.
12 minutes played. Atletico Madrid supporters in good voice in the far side, the far corner, the quadrant of that bottom tier for those of you who know the Emirates Stadium. Atletico go back. Gyökeres hairs after Oblak. Oblak inside his 6-yard area, takes a touch and passes the ball in front of his own goal, out towards Lenormand. Gyökeres still, though, pursues Lenormand, and because of his pressing action, it goes back towards the goalkeeper, and his efforts are greatly applauded by the Arsenal supporters. Arsenal have started well, but Barrios nips in there before Declan Rice can control the ball, and Atletico Madrid have it. Alvarez gives a square ball towards Barrios, and the midfielder now can run forward. Alvarez has stayed not too far away from him, and here is the World Cup winner towards Sorloth. Just drops out into the penalty area and feeds it to Llorente. Right hand side, does a little 360-degree turn, lifts over the cross, it's a high one, and it's caught well by David Raya. 7 clean sheets in his 10 games this season. Arsenal really do look a secure outfit in defence.
They do indeed, and tonight it would be easy to slow your play down tonight with Atletico sat in, but there seems to be an energy to Arsenal's play, an impetus, moving the ball quickly, even though they don't have to. Atletico sitting in a low block, pretty rigid, pretty slow. Arsenal, plenty of movement. Seems to be an urgency to try and break this deadlock.
Worth pointing out that in UEFA competition, Arsenal have won their last 14 games at home in either the group stages stroke league phase of UEFA competition, and they've kept in the last 11 clean sheets in each of those 11 games, and I was working that out that ahead of kick-off, that equates to 17 hours and 13 minutes since they last conceded in the group stages of UEFA competitions. In the group stages, when Rapid Vienna in December 2020 lost by 4 goals to 1. Timber links up with Saka. Saka shoots left-footed, comes out into the area. Eza looks for an effort, tries to nick it through. Luis Skelly shoots and shoots wide. Left-footed, maybe about 10 yards from goal, inside left channel, the penalty area, left-footed, goal kick, 0-0.
Yeah, he just breaks him, it opens it up on his left foot, and he tries to screw it back across goal. It's a little bit too much drag on it. I actually thought he was going to drag it back into Saka's path. He was on the right-hand side of the goal. Saka kind of gives up on his run almost, doesn't expect it. and it rolls agonisingly along that corridor of opportunity and out to safety.
Well, they've had a couple of opportunities, they've already hit the crossbar. As now coming forward is Simeone on that far side, the right, bursts into the penalty area, cuts it back, but it goes behind Gonzalez, and running back to help out is Saka, and he will pass the ball to David Raya, and Raya will clear for Arsenal up towards Gyökeres, who runs into a brick wall in the shape of Jose Maria Jimenez, the Uruguayan defender. A goal at Fratton Park in the Championship. Chris Wise.
On the half hour for the league leaders. Portsmouth 0, Coventry 1 from the corner. Tapped in from close range by Brandon Thomas Asante. 7 for the season for him. Portsmouth 0, Coventry 1.
No foul, Llorente on Martinelli. Instead it was offside. It'll be a free kick to Atletico Madrid. Coventry the leaders, the only unbeaten league side in all the divisions of English football, and Frank Lampard's side continuing to go well. And talking of clean sheets, they go into that game at Fratton Park with 5 successive clean sheets, as Alvarez picks it up now for Atletico. 0-0 here on 5 Live, also available on the BBC Sounds app and the iPlayer and Red Button if you wish to watch and listen to the video printer and the scores as they go along. As this now is Gonzalez, who's gone into a central area. He goes to his knees, picked up though by Barrios, plays the ball short and square to the right. Giuliano Simeone looks to try and feed it down that line, but Arsenal have won the ball and will clear it up towards Gyökeres, who tries to lay it off and succeeds very well. First time layoff to Eza, who comes forward. Eza bundled over. The referee has a look at that and will give a free kick. Goal at Hull City, Sarah Mulcairns.
It's Hull 2, Leicester 0. Things are going the way of the hosts here. Liam Miller at the heart of attack, coming back from his ACL injury. He set this one up, and Joe Gelhardt was there to fire it home at the back post. Hull 2, Leicester 0.
Got a good win at Birmingham at the weekend. It looks like they're following that up today with that scoreline at home to Leicester City. 0-0 it remains here in the Champions League. No goals at St James's Park, or indeed at Villarreal Manchester City in the other games involving English sides. That was another blatant push by Alvarez on Zubamendi. Referee on this occasion saw it and has let the advantage, as Arsenal still have the ball. And it is with Zubamendi who strokes it towards Gabriel. Saliba now across at the back. Spanish voices you might be able to hear over on that far side. Patient play from Arsenal at the moment in the centre circle. Goal now, Villarreal, John Akers.
Manchester City 1, no prizes for guessing who scored it. Erling Haaland has now scored in 12 goal games in a row for club and country to tap in after a low ball in, right-footed. It's Villarreal 0, Manchester City 1.
And John, can I ask you a nerdy question?
Yeah.
Was it off his left foot or his right foot?
It was right-footed, near post, ball coming across the 6-yard box.
The only reason I say that is that he's scored 98 goals for Manchester City off his left foot. As Teta hops away in frustration because a decision goes against his side. The Italian referee says that Barrios was the one fouled, where I think that Mikel Arteta thought that Barrios committed the foul on Timber.
Well, I actually think that Timber wins the ball originally, and it is his trailing foot that takes everything from Barrios, and it looked a bit of an awkward one. I'm glad Barrios got up from it actually, but yeah, I can understand Arteta's frustrations. But Atletico Madrid here in possession down the right hand side seems what their tactic is. They want to try and get at Lewis Skelly, don't they?
You could say this could be a dark arts derby, couldn't you, with Arsenal against Atletico Madrid, and we're just starting to see a little bit of niggle creeping into the game at Deepdale. Incidentally, Preston North End actually unbeaten at home in the Championship. Ball played through towards Saka. Oblak comes, very good save. Quickly off his goal line, excellent anticipation, got there to block. Preston North End 0, Birmingham City 1. Birmingham are ahead there in the Championship, and Saka is onto his feet.
I honestly don't think Hanko's seen Saka play before. Every time he's got in on him, it's like he doesn't know what he's going to do. Every time he just darts in behind him, and Hanko is just looking forward at the ball, hasn't opened his shoulders at all to Saka. Saka is having an absolute field day down this right-hand side.
Well, it's interesting that when that ball was played forward, and he was onside as well, was Saka, I've got to say Oblak did ever so well, but he's picked up a knock in the process as Oblak. So there's just been a slight stoppage in play for the Slovenian goalkeeper. Only kept his second clean sheet against Osasuna at the weekend. But when they played against Frankfurt in the previous game in the Champions League, Matteo Ruggeri actually was the left back, who they signed from Atalanta in the summer. And Hanko, I think he's having a really, really uncomfortable night on this near side, and Arsenal have looked a real threat on this right, and here they are again with Timber. And Nico Gonzalez tries to help and offer a little bit of protection.
Just watching Mbarechese in the middle of the park, he's got a real confidence about him in an Arsenal shirt, hasn't he? He seems to be linking up on this right-hand side with Timber and Saka. Seems to just be able to smell the danger, can smell where the weakness is.
Copenhagen 0, Borussia Dortmund 1 is the latest score elsewhere in the Champions League. Don't forget, Champions League match of the day tomorrow night, 10:40 on BBC One. Remains 0-0 here. Newcastle 0, Benfica 0, and Manchester City, through that man Haaland, are 1-0 up against Villarreal. Here is Rice running forward in between the two central defenders of Arsenal. Enters the centre circle, and now towards Timber. Gonzalez snapping away at his heels and forcing Timber back as we go back to St James's and Ailey.
Where Benfica have just hit the post with an unbelievable effort as Newcastle come forward and fire one just past the right hand post. But that effort from Benfica, from Luca Bacchio, curled beautifully, was waiting for it to nestle in the top corner, came back off the outside of the post. Still Newcastle 0, Benfica 0.
Thanks, Ailey. Benfica, who've lost both of their opening games so far. It's 0-0 here in North London, as Barrios in the centre of midfield passes the ball to Oblak, who looks to be okay after that little bit of a knock earlier on in that challenge with Saka. Trying to play the ball out from the back. Barrios, though, waits and just strokes it back towards Oblak. And then Oblak will just touch the ball a couple of times. And then right-footed will try and float it out towards Llorente. The right back takes it well high off the chest. Infield now to Koke, the captain. Up towards the halfway line he goes. Gets it back from Simeone. Koke now will run forward. Hanko's making good strides on this near side, the left, and Koke spotted him. Hanko controls the ball now off his left boot, runs in field. Links up now with Gonzalez, who delivers the cross towards Alvarez in the centre of midfield. Arsenal get the ball away in that penalty area. Bouncing ball that Sacco, in the end, loses out towards Hanko. Barrios now has it and touches the ball back to Jimenez. Jimenez now to Koke, and Atletico Madrid having a good spell of possession.
Yeah, good play by Atletico Madrid when their back's against the wall. Just put their foot on the ball, move it around, become expansive.
Alvarez keeps dropping deep, doesn't he?
Wow.
As they now lose the ball, and Saka, Barrios though recovers.
Well, I think there's a reason he drops deep. Deno is because he's getting absolutely nothing, stood where he is. He's trying to get involved, trying to get the ball further up the field. Solot's the one that's going to be that platform, but yes, just a little bit of interchange from Atletico Madrid, trying to find a foothold in the game.
And here he is once again, picking the ball up in an area of space in between in that Arsenal midfield. Solot now left-hand side, delivers an early ball in low from the left. Gabriel was back there, cuts it out, it goes out for a throw. I also noticed that Giuliano Simeone, is almost just playing on Lewis Skelly. So that's stopping Lewis Skelly, as we've seen so many times with Calafiori coming forward into that inverted left-back role for Arsenal this season. His presence is stopping Lewis Skelly from doing that.
Yeah, I think they see Lewis Skelly as possibly the weakest.
Solot cuts it back into the penalty area, again cleared away well, this time by Timber.
Not just the weakest force up, the weakest part of the Arsenal defence maybe. Like you say, stop him attacking. I feel as though they feel like they can get him. It's a real tactic to get down that right-hand side.
Cries of Atleti from the Spanish supporters. Oblak, his direct ball, headed away by Gabriel. Koke will head it further back though for Atletico Madrid, and then Barrios brings the ball down, tidy in the midfield, composed on the ball. Back it goes then to Lenormand, passes the ball out wide to the right. Llorente, Barrios, Simeone back towards Barrios. Infield now to Gonzalez, never looked in control of the ball in the centre circle, went away from him. and Raya should be able, no, he's going to let it roll out of play. Oh no, he got caught in all sorts of a tangle there, did Raya. He thought it was going to go out for a goal kick. He's out of his goal, and Atletico Madrid almost score. Well, David Raya was in no man's land. Mikel Arteta says to everybody, calm down, but that was a real let-off, and David Raya knows it. And Simeone almost knocked the ball in from about 20-odd yards out on the right-hand side with Raya in no man's land.
Well, he gets sucked into a challenge right in the touchline, doesn't he? And it was actually a really good challenge, but they recycle the ball, they throw it back in, it comes to Simeone. It's on his left foot, and he just feels it towards the Arsenal goal. No one's in the net, and it's so close. It bounces past the post about a yard wide. A real warning for Arsenal.
Though both sides have had a warning at either end now as it remains 0-0. But David Raya trying to marshal that ball out for a goal kick, then realised it wasn't, took a touch, conceded a throw, and was left really so isolated over on that far left side.
Well, he was scampering back, and as he was scampering back, he puts his arm up in apology, and if that ball from Simeone has any curl on it at all, he caught it really true. He's gone to really pass it inside foot, and it didn't have any break on it. It was straight as a die. If it has any curl on it at all, it's in the back of the net.
Lewis Skelly is forward, shows his strength, passes the ball towards Rice. Rice curls over the cross. Jimenez climbs all over the back of Gyökeres inside that area, but wins the duel. Timber, edge of the area. Timber shoots low, left-footed, lacks the power, saved by Oblak as at Ewood Park. Blackburn Rovers and Sheffield United, both sides in the bottom three. But it is Blackburn Rovers 5 minutes before half-time who are leading Sheffield United. That's the latest score in the Championship. 0-0 here in the Champions League. 5 Live and the BBC Sounds app. Lewis Skelly, his ball in field. Gabriel tried to get a touch with his head. Veered his head towards the right, looked rather awkward, lost the ball. Alvarez now picks it up and runs forward on the right, delivers a pacey cross in, and it whips across over everybody inside that penalty area and straight out for a goal kick. Goalless.
Right idea, but Alvarez is trying to find that front post. Soloth makes the run. It just needs to be a little bit of a flatter ball to find his forward partner. Doesn't quite get the trajectory right. Goes out over the top, but more of a threat from Atletico in the last 5 minutes.
An Atletico Madrid team who are 4th in La Liga, but they have scored in all 11 games this season. And they're currently unbeaten in 6 in all competitions. Here is Eza. Saka, right-hand side, Arsenal play from left to right, up against Hanko. There's a little step over, he's going to come inside onto his left foot, finds Timber. Timber looks for the run of Gyökeres. Gyökeres gets there, forcing his way, bustling his way into that penalty area, and then keeping the ball. And again, appreciation for the work rate and the efforts of the Swedish international. As Saliba now towards Gabriel. Rice takes over, out it goes to Martinelli. Not really attacked a great deal on that far side to left. Martinelli though will now deliver the cross, headed away by Lenormand. There was just a little bit there between Gyökeres and Jimenez off the ball, as Alvarez now runs forward and carries the ball to the edge of the area. Alvarez looks for a shooting opportunity, held up with his back to goal, plays it back. Joining the attack now is Barrios, can't get a shooting opportunity. Simeone is there now, right-hand side of the penalty area for Atletico Madrid. He scoops over the cross. Gonzalez tries to direct it towards Sorloth, and pouncing on the ball all in yellow is David Raya. I've got to say I'm enjoying the game.
Yeah, it's a wonderful game of football. It's end-to-end, both teams very strong. Felt as though Arsenal were going to dominate in the opening 5 or 6 minutes, but Atletico have recovered really well, and now the more animated manager is the Arsenal one. Mikel Arteta, arms in the air once more from his players.
You know, when I said a short while ago there's a little bit of niggle getting into the game, just watch Gyökeres and Jimenez, because they had a tussle. Gyökeres went to the floor. As Atletico attacked, Jimenez kept looking over his shoulder, almost in annoyance at the Swede, and they've just been having a few words again. Well, so that's one to keep an eye on. As Martinelli, the ball is spread out wide. Martinelli is onside, rolls it back. Here is Lewis Skelly, delivers the cross into the area. Jimenez and Gyökeres once again get a tangle. Gyökeres dives forward. I tell you, the way that is bubbling It's a real duel, and neither of them is prepared to shirk it at the moment. Here is Saka. Timber on the inside, right corner of the area now. Timber stands over the cross, headed up in the air by Leroy Mann, preventing it reaching Gyökeres. Behind for a corner kick, 0-0, 5 live.
What a brilliant little ball from Timber. Him and Saka have been absolutely outstanding down this right-hand side for Arsenal. He uses the run from Saka, just dives out onto his right-hand side and lifts a wonderful little ball in towards Gyökeres. Atletico Madrid do enough to get rid of it. You're right about that tussle that's forming. Deno, Jimenez and Gyökeres, and it all started when on this left-hand side where Gyökeres tried to make a run down. He ran right into his chest, didn't he? It was a really heavy collision, and from that point they've been really at each other.
Yeah, they have. We'll monitor that one. Arsenal, and now who's gone down inside the penalty area? Lewis Skelly has gone down just before the corner kick was about to be taken by Saka on this near side, the right. So David Massa, he's going to need eyes in the back of his head tonight.
I was just going to say that there, Deno. There's all sorts going on this field here.
And that was Simeone who's getting a talking to. Like father, like son, eh? Here is Saka who waits. 4 steps back, corner kick for Arsenal, 0-0, this near side the right, 31 minutes play. Still a lot of jostling going on in that penalty area. Stuttering up from Saka, in it goes to the near post, bodies fall at the near post as well, as it now comes towards Zubamendi, lifts it back in, Gabriel has stayed forward. Header out by Gonzalez, Llorente won't keep it in play. As PSV 0, Napoli 1 is a latest score elsewhere in the Champions League. PSV just a point so far, and Scott McTominay has got that goal for Napoli as they look to move to 6 points in this league phase of the Champions League. This is match day 3, tomorrow night, Stamford Bridge. Chelsea against Ajax will bring you commentary as Bristol City 0, Southampton 1. Southampton only 1 win in 8, but are leading through a goal from Adam Armstrong after half an hour at Ashton Gate. Here is Timber. Comes to a standstill. Gonzalez stands in front of him. Sorloth now looks to press Saliba. Arsenal in the centre circle of the Atletico Madrid half. Timber on this near side. Goal at St James's Park. Ailey Barber.
Then it's Newcastle 1, Benfica 0. A lovely move again down that right-hand side. Jacob Murphy played in behind. Perfect ball right across the face of goal to Anthony Gordon to just tap it in to the net to give Newcastle the lead. It's Newcastle 1, Benfica 0.
Newcastle United are ahead. Manchester City are ahead, both by a goal to 0 then, and it remains 0-0 here. 33 minutes played. Eza, Sorloth just lets him saunter past him. But then the ball is up with the Norwegian, who lays it off now to Gonzalez, and Gonzalez isn't sauntering here. He's bursting forward over the halfway line. Sorloth goes up with him. Alvarez takes over though. Just can't get past Zubamendi. Just tried to knock it past him, didn't he?
Doesn't he? Really well. Just closes his legs.
Gyökeres makes the run out wide right. And again, Jimenez leaves his arm on Gyökeres, and Jimenez is booked. That little feud between the two, it had to come to something, and it was a needless arm out wide. Let's get news from Fratton Park with Chris Wise.
Brandon Thomas Asante with the goal on the half hour, so that's another half of football where Coventry haven't conceded over 9 hours now, and as it stands their lead is 4 points at the top of the Championship. Pompey 0, Coventry 1.
Bristol City have equalised. Bristol City 1, Southampton 1, and Robert Andrich has been sent off for Bayer Leverkusen. So Bayer Leverkusen trailing at home to the holders Paris Saint-Germain by a goal to 0, now down to 10 men. Are you not having that?
I think there's been other challenges in the game that deserved a yellow card over that. That's what I'll say. I feel as though Jimenez, even though Gyökeres got the ball past him, he kind of held his ground, made his bum as big as he could, and made him body as big as he could, and Gyökeres runs into it. It was a heavyweight clash again. There's a real needle between those two. As far as what the referees let go so far this evening, I think it was a little bit harsh.
He's going to have to be careful though, the Uruguayan, and he's vastly experienced as well. 96 caps for his country, I remember being behind the goal, I think it was in Sao Paulo, and watching him play for England in the World Cup in 2014, as Saka waits to take this free kick for Arsenal. 0-0. About 12 yards up from the byline. It's right of the penalty area, and again a lot of needle pushing, shoveling, jostling, manoeuvring. The referee David Massa once again will be ever watchful. 0-0. Saka waits to take it, plays it to the edge of the area. Zubamendi scoops it into the penalty area, downward header, break could be on. Llorente tries to set Simeone away. Excellent anticipation from Raya. By the time that Simeone's got that ball over the halfway line, Raya's already met him. A long way out of his penalty area.
Can we just talk about how Simeone was on his own? He was in 20 yards of space all on his own, running onto the Arsenal half. Raya was very alert. Great positioning from the Arsenal goalkeeper, sweeps it away.
Copenhagen have equalised at home to Borussia Dortmund. Copenhagen 1, Borussia Dortmund 1, and PSV have equalised at home to Napoli in the Philips Stadion. PSV 1, Napoli 1. 0-0 here. Zubamendi for Arsenal. He's got options right and left. He goes right. Saka onto his right foot. Turned in by Martinelli, but the flag is raised and the celebrations are cut short after 36 minutes. VAR will naturally have a check. Saka's ball in from the right-hand side. Martinelli running in at the far post. VAR, everybody looks now for the monitors to see whether this goal will stand. But all I will say is the flag was raised instantly on this near side.
Great pressure by Zubamendi, robs Gonzalez, feeds Saka down this right-hand side, and he puts it across. I think he's just straight offside, Martinelli. It's confirmed there, but that is where Arsenal's goal's going to come from. That's where the breakthrough is going to come through. This right-hand side, really great press by the Arsenal midfield. Do everything right.
Martinelli's goal offside after the Saka cross from the right. Ball goes up towards Gyökeres. Jimenez with a downward header though now for Atletico Madrid. He plays it in field to Barrios, who just takes a step back to take him away from Martinelli. He's taken off the big puffer coat as Diego Simeone. He actually then just took off his suit jacket,
because he thought it was when Zubamendi presses Gonzalez, he was claiming for a free kick. It wasn't a free kick, it was a really good challenge that led to that goal. Just trying to cool down the Atletico manager there. It was a shake of the head, arms on hips. He's not very happy.
There's not much left if he takes that suit jacket off. You've just got a black shirt and a black tie. Not necessarily saying he's going to do the full Monty. Paris Saint-Germain, by the way, are down to 10 as they lead in Germany by a goal to 0, and it's the former Bournemouth player Zabiani who has been sent off. As we will go to Hull City and Sarah Mulkerrins.
Half-time, Hull 2, Leicester 0. Liam Miller started for the first time in a year on his way back from an ACL, showed no rust with a fine finish for their first. Joe Gelhardt then doubled their lead, tapping in at the back post. Handful of half chances for Leicester, work to do after the break for them. Hull 2-0 up.
So that means it's 10 against 10, doesn't it, for Bayer Leverkusen against Paris Saint-Germain, with the holders still leading by a goal to 0. Half-time now at Millwall. Aaron Paul.
Millwall 2, Stoke 0. Goals from Aziz and Kramer. One at the front post, one at the back. Both assisted by Tierno Ballo. Have Millwall very much in control. Stoke haven't laid a glove on their opponents. As things stand, Alex Neil's Lions going third. Millwall 2, Stoke 0.
Zubamendi has just been booked for a foul on Gonzalez. It means that he will be suspended for the next game, which is away to Slavia Prague.
I'm not sure it was for the foul, Deno. I think it was for the reaction after the when the foul was given. He throws a fist towards the referee. Didn't like it.
Free kick is taken short. Alvarez runs in field, and his ball is a teasing one. Comes out to this near side for Giuliano Simeone, cleared though by Gyökeres, up off the head of Eze, and then on the half volley cleared away there by Saka. Bayer Leverkusen actually have now equalised. Bayer Leverkusen 1, Paris Saint-Germain 1, and also in the Champions League. And PSV have come from behind and are now leading Napoli by 2-1 as they look for their first win in the league phase. It remains 0-0 here. In fact, this game and Union Saint-Gilloise against Inter Milan are the only games of tonight's league phase matches that are goalless, and that involves the two sides, Arsenal and Inter, who are still yet to concede.
Yeah, but even though there's still to be a score, it's a wonderful game of football. It's really in the balance, both teams going at it, aggressive, energetic, like you say. The dark outs are out there in full force this evening between these two.
5 minutes to go to the break. Zubimendi and Jimenez both now need to show a little bit of discipline, as they're both on a yellow card from the Italian referee, as Eze controls this ball outside the centre circle and runs away from Koke, drifting out towards the left, leaves it towards Martinelli, plays the ball in field. Rice has made that run to the left-hand side of the penalty area, then he slips and can't keep the ball in play. Another goal at Villarreal. John Akers.
2-0 City, Villarreal 0, City 2. It's a brilliant cross from the right and headed in, unmarked, edge of the 6-yard box by Bernardo Silva, the captain. It's Villarreal 0, Manchester City 2.
Swindon Town can go top of League 2 tonight with a win. Half-time at the county ground, Ross Heaton.
Swindon 1, Notts County 1. Aaron Drynan's close-range equaliser for the Robins, cancelling out Connor Grant's early opener. As it stands, Walsall staying top by a point. At the break, Swindon 1, Notts County 1.
We've got 4.5 minutes to go to half-time. Eze has just gone and caught Gonzalez. Gonzalez is quickly back to his feet. The referee's just checking on his welfare, but it probably around now, actually, against Osasuna, just before half-time. He had a head injury at the weekend. I was surprised to see him rise to his feet as quickly as he did.
Oh, he took a whack there, didn't he? Eze just got above it. It was almost like a standing start for Gonzalez, and Eze comes across him, bit more height, bit more power, and really takes him out. I was surprised to see him bounce up as quickly as that as well, Deno.
Inter are now leading in Belgium. Union Saint-Gilloise 0, Inter 1. And that means that this is the only goalless game of the night so far now, as we have just over 3 minutes to go to half-time. Atletico Madrid supporters making the noise as they watch Gyökeres in front of them. Paris Saint-Germain are back in front by Leverkusen 1, Paris Saint-Germain 2. And Doué has got that goal after 41 minutes. The Spanish supporters clapping in unison. Arsenal have a throw. Lewis Skelly not quite level with the penalty area. Waiting. Not a great deal of movement. It's going to be a long one.
Just watching Simeone dance up and down the touchline. He really does live it, doesn't he?
If you had a Simeone camp, you would certainly get your money's worth. In it comes now. A long looping throw in the penalty area. Declan Rice is adjudged to have fouled Giuliano Simeone, and that will be a free kick to Atletico Madrid.
Yeah, just leant over him, didn't he? Declan Rice, Simeone, what I would call buying a free kick on the edge of his area, taking that pressure off just before half-time.
Yep, just before the break here at the Emirates, and Oblak waits to take the free kick. Right-footed, downfield he goes. Gabriel climbs in the air, comes off his head, and will go out for an Atletico Madrid throw on that far side, the right, as they play in all blue from right to left. 0-0 it remains here on 5 Live, the BBC Sounds app, and also through the BBC iPlayer and the red button for 5 Live final score. So Atletico Madrid with Llorente wait to take the throw on the right.
The Nomads had a little venture forward here. They fancy their chances here. They've loaded the box, long throw.
In it comes now from Llorente into the penalty area. Gabriel, I think, got a little push from behind, still got his head on it. Jimenez has stabbed the ball forward. Then there was a foul from Declan Rice. And Declan Rice here, he's got to be careful he doesn't go into the book as well, because otherwise he too would, like Zubimendi, be suspended for that game against Slavia Prague.
Yeah, it's a couple in quick succession, isn't it? One at either end of the field. Can't see too much wrong with that. Used his body really well there. You know what? It's a free kick in a dangerous position as we approach the half-time. Another opportunity for, I think it'll be Alvarez again, to swing. A dangerous crossing. Last one was right on the money, wasn't it? I'll be looking to ask questions with this one.
Been in good form this season as well. Julian Alvarez, 7 goals in his 10 games. He stands over the free kick. Koke is also there. Arsenal have got everybody back in and around their penalty area in those red and white shirts. Alvarez from distance goes for goal, right-footed. It was a good way out, that, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think
over 30 yards out off target.
He was just trying to give Raya the eyes. It looked like he was going to cross it, that back post. They'd stacked it up and he just tried to sneak it in that near post. Doesn't quite get it on target, but I feel as though Raya had it covered, scrambled over, no real urgency.
Kvaratskhelia has got a 3rd goal for Paris Saint-Germain, both down to 10. Bayer Leverkusen 1, PSG 3 is now a latest score. We'll find out how much stoppage time there will be very, very soon, as the 45 minutes of this regulation first half are almost up. Here is Saka. Saka saying that he took a clip on the ankle from him, and 1 minute of added on time, which we're now into. And Saka has stayed down. He's got to be careful, the Uruguayan.
Yeah, he's not shy, is he, of a challenge. I've just seen a replay. I can't see an awful lot wrong. I want to see a slow-mo now. It's just... Well, from what I can see, he does toe the ball away. He does catch what is the bottom of Saka's foot, which I didn't think would hurt that bad, but Arsenal man didn't like it. He's back on his feet now, though. A relief to all Arsenal fans.
As Arsenal wait to take the throw. That's the voice of Glenn Murray here at the Emirates. We're inside just the additional 60 seconds, and Rice with the throw, launched in now towards the penalty area, headed away by Hanko, headed back by Lewis Skelly. Llorente manages to volley the ball up towards Barrios, who again just waits to assess his options on that far side and plays the ball back to Lenormand, who'll go further back. Gyökeres will tear after Oblak, who put him under enough pressure. That's all down to the running and the willingness of Gyökeres, and it's a quick throw that Arsenal have taken on the right. Rice, Zubamendi with the cross. Martinelli heads it over. It'll be a goal kick, and in fact I think that's the end of the half anyway.
That's a big chance. It's a big chance. Swung in by Zubamendi. Martinelli's appealing. I think the ball was just slightly behind him, but he needs to use the pace on the ball. Just redirect it, just guide it. Doesn't quite get it right. And there it is, half-time.
Half-time, Arsenal 0, Atletico Madrid 0, and Arsenal have certainly created the better opportunities. Ezra's deflected shot looped onto the crossbar, Rice on the rebound wide. Lewis Skelly's had an effort off target. Oblak made a block from Saka, and Martinelli, after 36 minutes from Saka's cross from the right, had a goal ruled out for offside. The only concern for Arsenal was when Raya went walkabout after a poor touch, when he's trying to marshal the ball behind for a goal kick, left himself in no man's land, and Simeone with an open goal put it wide with Raya desperately running back. Your thoughts, Glenn Murray?
A game in the balance, I would say, Deno. A wonderful game of football, even though there's not been a goal yet. Both teams trying to just suss each other out, and you would think that Arsenal, with the lion's share of possession, have probably done a little bit more than Atletico, but Atletico have had the best chance, even though it was from a Raya mistake.
And just before we go, I can tell you that Inter have now got a second goal against Union Saint-Gilloise, so they lead 2-0. But here at the Emirates, Kelly, it is Arsenal 0, Atletico Madrid 0.
Thank you very much to Ian Dennis and Glenn Murray. We'll be back with them for the second half of that game. 2 other English sides in action in the Champions League this evening, including Newcastle, who are at home to Benfica. Ailey Barber's been watching that one.
It's been a really competitive and enjoyable first half, one that Newcastle have edged thanks to a sweeping move down the right hand side. Murphy played in behind his perfectly weighted ball across. Was a simple finish for Anthony Gordon for his 4th Champions League goal of the season. The pace of Murphy and Gordon have certainly caused problems, but Newcastle maybe missing a little bit the intensity and energy of Tonali and Joe Linton in midfield, and they've given a few opportunities to Benfica. Luca Bacchio with the best of them, one beautifully curling effort coming back off the post, and he's had another couple saved by Pope. Newcastle, though, they probably just deserve their lead at the break, but it certainly feels like there is more to come in this one. At half-time, it is Newcastle 1, Benfica 0.
And whatever happens, Ailey will be across it for us. Manchester City comfortable at Villarreal. John Akers is watching.
That's what I've got written down. Comfortable. Villarreal 0, Manchester City 2. So easy for City. Erling Haaland again after 17 minutes opening the scoring for Manchester City. Low ball in from Savinho was really good. Right foot finish. Kind of came off his shin a bit, but everything he hits just goes in at the moment. So flew in past the goalkeeper's left hand, and then 2-0 through Silva. Same side. Every time City have gone down the right, they've looked a threat. The low ball in comes in from Savinho again. It was Rico Lewis, by the way, for the Haaland goal. Sorry, Savinho for the second goal. A Bernardo header, 6 yards out, unmarked. Easy as you like. Villarreal 0, Manchester City 2.
And while Villarreal have been in action against Manchester City, things are shifting in terms of the La Liga match between Villarreal and Barcelona, which is supposed to be played in Miami. But Guillaume Balaguer, it doesn't look like it will be for the time being.
No, fully cancelled. This has been announced by La Liga in the last few minutes. They mentioned at the top of their statement that in agreement with Relevant, who is the organizer of the game, they decided not to go ahead, and then it starts putting a whole list of things why this is a bad idea. We will know the reasons why this has been cancelled, but generally it has to do, number one, financial reasons. Perhaps there wasn't enough money, perhaps the money wasn't clear where it was going, but certainly there's been a lot of confusion. Villarreal was saying we're not getting any money for it. Barcelona was saying, oh yeah, as soon as we get into the plane, we will get money. There wasn't clear how Villarreal had promised about 5,000 of the fans go to Miami, how that was going to happen. And, of course, the trade union in La Liga, in Spain, they did not know enough about the game because La Liga didn't give them enough information. So then started a momentum of those that didn't want this to happen that has forced La Liga and Relevant to cancel it. It's not the end of the story because I think while Tebas is the head of La Liga, he will try to get one game away because he thinks that is a project, as the statement says, aimed to enhance the visibility of Spanish football. It complied fully with federation regulations. The opposition to the project was just for reasons unrelated to regulatory or sporting integrity.
Yeah, it's been a, let's say, a period of unrest in La Liga, Guy. I'm just trying to find the right kind of phrasing of it because the players protested at the weekend as well.
They did. For the first 10 seconds of each game, they decided not to play, which was quite weird because obviously nobody moved. The ball was kicked and nobody moved. But what was made more interesting is that we had to be reported from the ground, especially the first grounds on Friday, the game on Friday, Oviedo Español, because we did not see that on television as La Liga decided to put pictures of the ground instead of the first 10 seconds of the game, which meant that in another game, I think it was Celta Real Sociedad, instead of stopping in the first 10 seconds, they did it in the second 40. Between 40 and 50, which caught La Liga a little bit off guard. But generally was the players saying, we don't know enough, we don't agree with it, as Carvajal has said, Courtois and others, and basically we just don't want this to happen. A home game has to be a home, not in Miami. It seems like the Spanish culture, football culture, is not prepared for this jump.
Villarreal, Barcelona in Miami is off for the reasons that Guillaume has just outlined. Our focus this evening, though, is on the Champions League game against Manchester City. City in front there, Newcastle in front against Benfica, Arsenal goalless against Atletico Madrid, and elsewhere there have been all kinds of things going on, John Bennett.
Yes, the most eventful game, I think, has to be Bayer Leverkusen 1, Paris Saint-Germain 4. So 2 red cards and 5 goals. Paris Saint-Germain took the lead. William Pacho, his first for the club. Leverkusen then missed a penalty. Then Andrich was sent off for Leverkusen for an elbow. Then Leverkusen won another penalty. Zabani was sent off for Paris Saint-Germain. Garcia scored for Leverkusen, but then Paris Saint-Germain raced away with it. 2 goals for Doué and 1 for Kvaratskhelia. Elsewhere, PSV Eindhoven 2, Napoli 1. Scott McTominay scored for Napoli, but then 8 minutes later, PSV were in the lead. Bongiorno with an own goal, then Saibari with a one-on-one effort. Union Saint-Gilloise have been on top against Inter, but they're 2-0 down. Inter scoring through Denzel Dumfries and Lautaro Martinez. And it's FC Copenhagen 1, Borussia Dortmund 1. A wonderful goal for Dortmund from Felix Nemecha, set up by Jobe Bellingham.
Thank you very much for now, John. John will keep us across all those games happening in the Champions League this evening. And we'll be back at the Emirates very shortly for second half commentary of Arsenal against Atletico Madrid. That's coming up after the BBC News with Nick Hatfield.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Good evening. Israel says it's received the bodies of a further 2 dead hostages from Hamas. It comes as the US Vice President J.D. Vance visits Israel and says the ceasefire is going better than expected. But he warned Hamas that if it doesn't cooperate, it will be obliterated. The White House says there are no plans for President Trump to meet Vladimir Putin in the immediate future. Last Thursday, Mr. Trump said he and the Russian leader would hold talks to discuss the war in Ukraine within 2 weeks. Our correspondent John Sudworth is in Kyiv.
There is no official word from the White House as to why this has now been kicked into the long grass, but I think all the clues are coming out of Moscow. The Kremlin making it very clear that it is still pursuing its maximalist aims. It wants to win this war. It wants to push on and take other bits of Ukraine that it still covets.
A third sexual abuse survivor has stepped down from the government's inquiry into grooming gangs. Victims have complained that the process feels like a cover-up. Maggie Oliver resigned as a Greater Manchester detective over the way grooming gang cases were investigated, and she says there's been a lack of transparency surrounding the public inquiry.
All of these conversations that have been had over the past 4 months have been behind closed doors. It's secretive. We don't know the terms of reference. I'm having messages from many on the survivor panel saying that they're being told to sign non-disclosure agreements.
Boris Johnson has denied the government failed to plan for mass school closures during the pandemic. Speaking at the COVID inquiry, the former Prime Minister admitted children paid a huge price during lockdown. A British woman who spent more than a decade in prison in Indonesia is being allowed to return to the UK after a deal was struck with the Indonesian government. 69-year-old Lindsay Sanderford was sentenced to death in Bali in 2013 after 5 kilos of cocaine was found in her suitcase. And French prosecutors say jewellery stolen from the Louvre in Paris in a daylight robbery has been valued at €88 million. Crown jewels are among the items taken in the raid on Sunday. No one has yet been caught.
Welcome to the Wayne Rooney Show.
Twice a week, Wayne Rooney, Kate Hurd and me, Kelly Summers, break down the biggest stories in the Premier League and beyond.
Before every game, we say don't mess around the ball to back. If you're there and you're playing little passes and the crowd get up, it becomes so difficult to play them.
Plus, we'll hear the funniest and most outrageous stories from Wayne's career.
50 Cent's walked off, so we're just on the stage, me and Rio, like, so I've gone to the front and I was The Wayne Rooney Show. Listen on BBC Sounds.
This is 5 Live Sports, the Champions League with Kelly Cates.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
We will be back at the Emirates for a second half commentary of Arsenal against Atletico Madrid very shortly, but elsewhere today, voting for the BBC Women's Footballer of the Year is now open. The 5 nominees are Aitana Bonmati, Hannah Hampton, Mariona Caldente, Alessia Russo and Patrick Guijarro. Maz Faruqi will present the award, which is now in its 11th year.
Yeah, it's funny when you think back to kind of what the landscape really of women's football looked like 11 years ago. There wasn't a women's Ballon d'Or or any of these other awards that obviously are big talking points that we talk about now that recognise a lot of these players. So it is funny to think about how everything has changed. And what's also interesting is always to hear people's thoughts on our shortlist of nominees when we always launch this award on the BBC World Service on the morning of days like today. And a lot of people, I think, always have their opinions, and it's really fascinating. So I think it's always worth reminding people that it is a global vote. So our panel of experts who come to this shortlist of our 5 nominees are people from around the world, and they're all invested and involved in women's football. They all follow players and matches and major tournaments from across the world. And it's not just over one tournament or a certain competition or a certain period of time. It's over the course of the 12 months. So this ran from sort of after the end of the Paris Olympic Games, and last year's shortlist obviously had a lot of players who performed really well in Paris. So we kind of restarted it, reset it, if you like, from September last year through to the end of August this year. So obviously the European Championship, but we're talking about the Women's Africa Cup of Nations as well, and the Women's Coppa. And so many European-based players were voted for by our panel. And so that's why there's so many English and Spanish players in there, because obviously they've had a massive impact over the last 12 months.
And 5 Euros finalists in there as well. How can people vote, Maz?
Well, they vote by heading to our website. So, as you mentioned, the five players who are nominated, all 5 of them played in the European Championship final. 4 of the 5 of them as well playing in the Champions League final back in Lisbon in May as well, which I think reflects how big that competition is now globally. So it is a public vote, so everybody can go to the BBC Sport website, the BBC Sport app, and vote there. There's profiles as well, stats this year, different technical articles as well on why these 5 players are so impressive and why they've been so consistent and why they've stood out across the global game. And everyone's got until 9 o'clock in the morning on Friday the 31st. So just under 10 days to cast a vote for their favourite, Kelly.
Thank you very much to Maz Faruqi. There has been a goal in the Championship. It's Portsmouth against Coventry, and Chris Wise is there.
And it's getting better for the Championship League leaders. They've scored again. Portsmouth 0, Coventry 2, and it's the same goal scorer from the first half as well. Brandon Thomas Asante, set clear by Ellis Sims, set himself, beat Joe Bursick in the Pompey goal, and Coventry right now 4 points clear at the top of the league. Portsmouth 0, Coventry 2.
Wales legend Jess Fishlock announced her retirement from international football last week. She's been speaking to Ellen White and Jen Beattie on the Women's Football Weekly podcast about her decision.
I just wanted to be able to leave Wales knowing that we were competitive, we had the right pathways, and we would be able to carry on competing when I'm gone, because otherwise, what's the point if Wales can't keep pushing on and pushing forward? Then I just don't believe that I would have done my job appropriately. So that gives me the most emotion, is that I look at us now and I go, in truth, this was all I really wanted. Getting to a Euros and everything else was just an icing on the cake for me personally. But the biggest win has been that.
You can hear that full interview on the BBC Women's Football Weekly podcast on BBC Sounds. 2-time World Cup winner Emily Scarratt has announced her retirement from all rugby union. The 11-time Six Nations champion and 2019 World Player of the Year is also England women's all-time leading point scorer. In men's rugby, Wales have recalled Lewis Rees-Zammit for their autumn tests. Rees-Zammit hasn't played for his country in 2 years after switching to play American football. And Australia captain Alyssa Healy is set to miss their Women's Cricket World Cup clash against England tomorrow. A calf injury could see her miss the rest of the tournament. The TMS team will bring you live coverage of that from 10:15 tomorrow morning on 5 Sports Extra. Goalless then in our commentary match between Arsenal and Atletico Madrid this evening, just before we head out there for the second half of that game. Andros Townsend, what did you make of the first half? Where do Arsenal need to get themselves over the line in this game?
I think from an Arsenal perspective, they've probably had the lion's share of possession, but I think Atletico have been very comfortable when Arsenal have had possession. They've just, their wingers, Gonzalez and Simeone, have just got into the back line, made a 5 at the back, made a 6 at the back, and been tough to break down. I think Arsenal probably need to move the ball a bit quicker side to side and not allow Madrid to get those players in the back line. So Arsenal are on top, but I think Atletico are comfortable as well at the same time.
Andros Townsend and Guillaume Balaguer are staying with us throughout the evening here on 5 Live Sport, but now we can head back to the Emirates for second half commentary of Arsenal against Atletico Madrid, with updates from Newcastle and Benfica and Villarreal and Manchester City. We can rejoin Glenn Murray and Ian Dennis.
Thanks, Kelly. Neither side has made a change at half-time, so Arsenal line up with Raya in goal, Timber, Saliba, Gabriel and Lewis Skelly, Zubamendi, Rice, Eze, Saka, Martinelli and Gyökeres. Red and white shirts, white shorts, and in the second half we'll be playing from right to left as we look as the Italian referee David Massa gets the game restarted, and Atletico Madrid all in blue, their change outfit, Oblak in goal, back four of Llorente, Jimenez, Lenormand and Hanko, Simeone, Barrios, Koke and Gonzalez, Alvarez and Sorloth, as Atletico Madrid play from left to right. And here is Simeone, Llorente, Simeone's ball in field to Alvarez. That's a nice turn into the penalty area. Alvarez looking for a sight of goal, still going, might break back towards Barrios, but it's nicked away by Eze. Every time he's got the ball, Julian Alvarez tonight, he's looked a real threat.
Yeah, he has indeed. Picks up a really good position there. Just turns in the Arsenal 18-yard box, knocks it out of his feet, and Declan Rice does really well not to make any contact with him.
Meanwhile, Arsenal are breaking. There's a lot of supporters are still filing back in front of us, just to our left, as we sit low down right to the halfway line. And Mikel Arteta is annoyed that Martinelli has lost the ball as easy as he did. Atletico Madrid with Alvarez, but that was blocked by Gabriel, who tracked him almost midway through the Atletico half. Martinelli battles for it. Out towards Eze. Eze holds off Koke. He's being tracked by the Atletico captain, as Arsenal go all the way back towards the halfway line. 0-0 here on 5 Live. Saliba out towards Timber on that side, up towards Saka. Saka with an opportunity to run at Hanko, who dives in, and Saka's away from him. Saka now continues to come in field onto his left foot, blocked by Koke, edge of the area, played back out towards Timber. Hanko there commits, slides into the ground, gives it actually back towards Timber. Arsenal still threatening. Timber comes on the inside of 2 players. Timber into the penalty area, then on the outside, and it's behind. It goes for a corner kick, as we'll quickly get a goal at Swindon with Ross Heaton.
And Notts County back in front against their 4th place host Alassane Diatta with a clinical side footer. 62 gone. Swindon 1, Notts County 2.
Cheers, Ross. BBC Radio 5 Live. Early in the second half, and Arsenal have a corner kick far side the right. I'm up and down like a jack in a box with these supporters to try and get a good view, with that end a little bit obscured at the moment away towards our left. Corner kick waits to come in from the right. 0-0 in the 3rd minute in the second half. In it comes now, headed out by Sorloth, climbed high. Zubamendi plays it back out towards Saka, level with the area. Saliba slides it back into Saka, cut out though by Alvarez, who'd tracked the run very, very well with the interception in the penalty area. And then the referee has said there is going to be an Atletico Madrid free kick. Glenn Murray.
Lively start to the second half, more even start. Both teams having a go at each other. Diego Simeone will be much happier with this start than the first half. Couldn't get a foothold in the game. This half looked threatening already. And even though Arsenal have been slightly better in that first half, can't help but feel Atletico grown into the game.
That's Glenn Murray here on BBC Radio 5 Live. Lenormand with a back pass towards Oblak, puts his foot through it, right-footed, all in green. Downfield, Gabriel will guide his header out towards Timber, and he will go further back towards David Raya. Raya, in a lemon yellow goalkeeping outfit, plays it to Saliba in front of that travelling support. Good numbers that have made their way across from Madrid. And then Arsenal lose the ball in that final third of theirs. And then the effort from Alvarez, who hit it instinctively, turned and shot right-footed, and it's rattled the crossbar. Talk about him being a threat. He knew exactly what he wanted. He's been consoled by his teammates. That would have been a spectacular goal.
Oh, he knew what he was doing. Back to goal, gets it out of his feet, and as he spins, you can see what he's trying to do. He's trying to manufacture a shot into that far left-hand corner, and he almost pulls it off. David Raya, he's at full stretch, can get nowhere near it, and he just kisses the bar, bounces back out. The closest Atletico have come.
And now he waits to take a free kick on this near side, the right. Made just over 100 appearances for Manchester City, and his record against Arsenal was 1-2, drawn 1 and lost 1. As Alvarez with a teasing ball in, and I think it was Hanko who tried to get himself in front of the Arsenal defence and couldn't guide it goalwards, and it goes out for a goal kick, so it remains 0-0. Newcastle United, remember, are 1-0 up at home to Benfica. Manchester City lead 2-0 at Villarreal. Tomorrow night we'll have commentary from Stamford Bridge. Also in the Champions League, Chelsea against Ajax. As Saliba to Zubamendi, again dropping in between the two central defenders, allows the fullbacks to push on. Here is Lewis Skelly, yet to start in the Premier League due to Calafiore's fine form. Saliba goes out wide to Timber. They made just the 2 changes tonight from the side that beat Fulham. Premier League leaders who boast the best defensive record in the English top flight, and along with Inter, still to have their goal breached in this Champions League in the early stages of the league phase, as Rice takes over, looking for a way through. Rice, midway through the Atletico half. Gyökeres holds the ball up, lays it out towards Saka on the right, then makes a run ahead of him. Right-hand side, Gyökeres will win a corner kick. They're appealing for handball there, but again waved away instantly by the Italian official. Glenn.
Yeah, just lifted up, and it's that man who's always seems to be walking the line, Jimenez, lifted up into his arms. Gyökeres just gives it, he crosses it from the right hand side, and it does just kiss his hand, doesn't it? But
Alvarez surging forward, Gabriel goes with him. Alvarez though holds off the challenge of the Arsenal defender, right hand side of the penalty area. Simeone will flick it back towards the Manchester City player. He has been a real nuisance. Koke makes the run. Oh, now did he get a nick inside the area? To his credit, he tried to stay on his feet, couldn't keep the ball in play. Goal kick.
he did, just the wrong side, the blind side of Lewis Skelly. As that ball rolls past the Arsenal youngster, he just flicks out at all. Koke goes over. I think he knows that the contact isn't quite sufficient. He actually doesn't get any contact at all, and that's why he tries to scramble to his feet, because it was actual simulation, complete simulation from the Atletico Madrid captain.
Watching Mikel Arteta pace up and down in his technical area, and then likewise for Diego Simeone to his right, it's like the Proclaimers. I will walk 500 miles and I will walk 500 more, because the two of them just are. I mean, as I say that, then Simeone comes to a standstill with his hands on his hips. It didn't last long. They watch on. 0-0 it remains. 7 minutes into the second half here on 5 Live. Gabriel, Saliba, right to the centre circle. Saka comes a little bit deep to collect this ball. Back towards the halfway line. Lays it back to Gabriel. Lewis Skelly down towards Martinelli. Doubled up on Martinelli on this left-hand side. He's got Simeone and Llorente to beat. Here there is Martinelli. The manager's son puts a foot into the challenge, but the Brazilian still has it and shuffles the ball back towards Gabriel. Infield, Zubamendi flicks it on. Gyökeres sliding forward, couldn't get there. Again, Oblak made himself big. Before he knows it, Oblak's already off his goal line.
Yeah, it's a wonderful play by Zubamendi. Back to goal, flicks it up and just spins it round the corner. Gyökeres, a willing runner in that space. First to it, Oblak makes himself as big as possible.
Martinelli can't burst through on this left-hand side. That's why Oblak is as good as he is, and he has been as well. He's been ever since really the signing from Benfica 11 years ago for 16 million euros, and he's made over 500 appearances, 506 before tonight, 227 clean sheets. You know, this is a goalkeeper of the highest pedigree. 0-0, Arsenal. Martinelli tries to go on the outside, and Arsenal get a throw. They want to keep the momentum going. We'll go to St James's Park. Ailey Barber.
Where Jacob Murphy has just had an effort palmed around the post for a Newcastle corner. We're 8 minutes into this second half. It's been all Newcastle so far. Voltemada had an effort deflected wide as well, and then from a corner, Lewis Miley with a free header that he just got underneath of. So Newcastle corner, they still lead by that Anthony Gordon goal to 0.
Sheffield United have come from behind. Blackburn Rovers 1, Sheffield United 2. Bayer Leverkusen 1, Paris Saint-Germain 5. Lewis Skelly with a long looping throw, headed away by Simeone inside the penalty area. Inter have now got a third goal in Belgium. Union Saint-Gilloise 0, Inter 3, and Charlton likewise have got a third goal at Portman Road. Ipswich Town, who before tonight were unbeaten at home in the Championship, but Charlton are leading by 3 goals to 0. What's the latest Villarreal Manchester City, John Akers?
Villarreal 0, Manchester City 2, very comfortable. Manchester City, Haaland with the first, and then Bernardo Silva in the first half, controlling the second half too. It's Villarreal 0, Manchester City 2.
We've played 10 minutes in the second half here at the Emirates. It remains 0-0. Barrios in the midfield. He's 22 years of age. He moved from the Real Madrid academy back in 2017. Spanish under-21 international as Martinelli comes forward now, head down, away from Barrios as well, then runs into Llorente, and Llorente stops Martinelli. The Arsenal bench aren't happy with Llorente. I thought that Martinelli might have gone it after Llorente, or have I read that wrong?
I feel as though Llorente stops. Martinelli stops the ball and then runs into Llorente, and the referee gives a free kick to Martinelli. I don't understand that one.
No.
It was more of a coming together. Martinelli's looking for the ball, looking for the free kick. Very theatrical.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I thought that that was a little harsh on Llorente. But the way that the bench reacted as well, maybe they were closer to it than we are, as the supporters now in front of us have all stood up, and Rice waits to take the free kick.
He's become more and more animated as the game's gone on, Arteta.
Yes. Simeone-itis, I think they call it. Here is Rice, right-footed. It's a teasing one, and it's arcing! There to be met! And there it was! With Gabriel running forward. It was such a teasing ball. It was inviting. It was an in-swinger. Very, very hard to defend. And Arsenal have the breakthrough goal. Gabriel, 1-0.
Yeah, it's one of those ones, it's an in-swinger. The goalkeeper can't come and meet it. It's just whether someone can get a touch on it, unless it falls into Oblak's hands. It's desire, it's pace, it's power across the front. Gabriel, he runs off Gonzalez, too powerful for the Atletico left winger. Eventually just gets a kiss of the forehead, redirects the ball. Oblak is too close to it, can't do anything about it. Into the ground, into the back of the net. 1-0 Arsenal.
That's all about the delivery though, isn't it?
It's a wonderful delivery, absolutely wonderful. It was begging, absolutely begging for someone to stick their forward in it. And who does it? The one with the most hunger, the most desire in the opposition box. So many times we've seen him do it, and he does it again.
Every goal that he's scored in the Premier League has come from a set piece. That is his 22nd goal in his Arsenal career, and once again running forward, well-timed run, header past Oblak, and Arsenal lead by 1-0 in an absorbing contest. Alvarez plays the ball forward. This is Simeone who shoots right-footed. Atletico Madrid are still in this.
Yeah, he's got to do better there, Simeone. Wonderful ball by Alvarez, plays him in, just lets it roll a little bit too far on his right foot, and the angle gets a little bit tight, he digs it out. I think it's actually Gabriel who comes across, clears the ball, and then celebrates in front of the Arsenal fans. And right now, the Emirates is absolutely electric.
Bristol City have come from behind. They lead Southampton 2-1 in the Championship. Atletico have a corner, fired across from the right-hand side, cleared away by Arsenal. Barrios looks to play it towards Alvarez. Gyökeres has worked his socks off tonight. Atletico, though, take a quick throw. Simeone on this near side, cuts away from Rice, enters the penalty area, checks back again then, shoots, blocked inside the penalty area. Picked up by Alvarez. Alvarez has a go, curling effort, headed behind for a corner kick. A goal at Hull City, Sarah Mulkerrins.
Leicester City are back in this. It's Hull City 2, Leicester 1. Aaron Ramsey on as a second half substitute. A brilliant curling effort from the D to pull them back into it. Hull 2, Leicester 1.
Bayer Leverkusen 2, Paris Saint-Germain 5, PSV 3, Napoli 1 are latest scores elsewhere in the Champions League. Atletico Madrid looking for an equaliser, have a corner kick, far side the left.
Brilliant reaction from Atletico Madrid. Looks like he's going to make substitutes with people from the bench.
Looks like a triple change coming up. Atletico with an in-swinging corner, headed away by Gyökeres at the near post. Alvarez picks it up. Koke now will send over the cross, headed away well by Zubamendi. 1-0 to the Arsenal. A familiar chant down the years rings around the Emirates on this dry night in North London. I was just wondering to see Conor Gallagher is one of the players going to be coming on. The ball is hoisted high by Barrios from this right-hand side, and that is caught by David Raya. Look to see who the other changes will be. There is a lot of activity on that bench down below.
Well, I can tell you one of them isn't, and that's Antoine Griezmann.
Arsenal 1-0 up. Timber comes forward on that right-hand side. Timber, Saka to his right. Coming in now off that outside, sends over the cross, look towards Gyökeres, clear, only partially, stabbed away by Gonzalez. Referee though says there was a foul on Gonzalez, and that will be a free kick. Alex Baena is going to be one of the other players who's going to be coming on. Gallagher we know about, might even be a quadruple change, we'll just have to see.
They've picked up those little niggly fouls really well, managed the game well, Atletico so far. But Arsenal now, the goal ahead, how are they going to manage this?
The other one is Matteo Ruggeri, who is an Italian defender. So I wonder if he's going to come on for Hanko.
Hanko actually just missed a chance off the last corner. He got across the front post, just timed his header all wrong, didn't even make any contact. Tried to generate too much power, whipped his head, missed the ball.
The changes aren't being able to be made just as yet, as Koke drops deep inside his penalty area. Barrios plays the ball forward. Gonzalez comes into that midway point of the Atletico half. And now Alvarez comes forward. Good noise, as I'm sure you can hear inside the Emirates here tonight on 5 Live. Llorente goes down the right-hand side, sends over a cross, and the header from Hanko was just over the top. He arrived late, kept it down too, but just off target. Another goal at Swindon, Ross Heaton.
Swindon have equalised for the second time. Aaron Drinan with his second of the game on the stretch and off the post. As it stands, the Robins moving up to second. Swindon 2, Notts County 2.
Koke, the captain, is coming off his 695th appearance for the club to replace by Conor Gallagher, who's picked up 4 yellow cards in 8 games against Arsenal for either West Brom, Crystal Palace or Chelsea. Just the 1 win in those 8 appearances. And Jimenez has gone off, and so that means that Ruggeri has come on for Gonzalez, and then the other change is Baena coming on for Jimenez. So I'm not too sure how they're going to try and jig those around there.
I think Hanko's gone into the left centre-back role, pushed Ruggeri out to left-back, Conor Gallagher in midfield.
Yes. So we're now looking at a back four of Llorente, Lenormand, Hanko and Ruggeri.
I bet Hanko is absolutely delighted to get off that left-hand side.
So Ruggeri, who was signed from Atalanta in the summer, a 5-year deal, the Italian under-21 international. He comes on for just his 8th appearance since he's arrived. He'll go in at left-back. And where is Baena going to play? Gallagher, of course, is in the centre of midfield to replace Koke alongside Barrios. So Baena has gone out wide left instead of Gonzalez, and then you've still got Alvarez and Sorloth up front.
Yeah, I think the next change will be Sorloth. Hasn't had much impact on the game, has he? I imagine he'll want to get Griezmann on at some point, but a little bit of energy added to the Atletico ranks.
Copenhagen 1, Borussia Dortmund 2 is the latest score. Arsenal are going to make a change as well, it would seem. Gabriel Ainsa is just having a word in the ear of Mikel Arteta, as this is Lewis Skelly with a powerful run through the midfield to the edge of the area to Martinelli. First time shot by Martinelli, and Arsenal increased their lead. Lewis Skelly drove at the heart of the Atletico defence, and Martinelli applied the finishing touch with a first time finish as Arsenal look to maintain their perfect start to the Champions League. 2-0.
Huge goal by Arsenal. Miles Lewis Skelly cuts right through the heart of Atletico Madrid. Lads who 1-2 past Conor Gallagher. He's approaching the 18-yard box, and I think he's going to try and complete. I think he's going to try and shoot. He doesn't. He shows real restraint. He lays it into Martinelli. Martinelli trots onto it. First time, right foot, curling across Oblak. Gets a really good hand on it. Can only tip it onto the post. Kisses the post and into the back of the net. Wonderful by Arsenal. Devastating.
It certainly was. And Martinelli with his 4th goal of the season. He's had to play probably more as a substitute so far this time. But one of the 2 changes, it was just first, he knew exactly what he was doing, Martinelli. Right-footed, he just probably kissed the right-hand post on its way in.
Oblak got a good hand to it, actually, but you know what? It was all about the weight of the pass, which allowed him to stride onto it and to whip it across Oblak. What a wonderful move. Miles Lewis Skelly, the wee burst through Atletico there.
Reading are leading Northampton Town by a goal to 0 in League One. That would actually take them out of the relegation zone, and Bristol City have got a 3rd goal. Bristol City 3, Southampton 1 is a latest score in the Championship at Ashton Gate. This is BBC Radio 5 Live. It's the Champions League. And Arsenal are leading by 2-0. And Mikel Arteta, now that they've got that cushion of the second goal, is keen, I think, to make some changes. Calafiore, is he going to be coming on? I wonder if, when he saw him strip for action, the natural person to replace would be Lewis Skelly, who was so heavily influential in the goal.
Yeah, he really was.
Calafiore is stripped and ready for action. We're also going to see, are we going to see Trossard? No, Trossard has made his way back. Nwaneri is another player who's going to be coming on. Ethan Nwaneri.
I think Arteta feels though this is an opportunity to give players a little bit of a rest. He plays a run out.
Well, they've got Palace at home on Sunday. They've got Brighton at home then in the League Cup next Wednesday. And then they go to Burnley. Martinelli, full of running, hooks the ball across. Eze hits it first time. Gyökeres squeezes the ball home. His goal drought is over. It's 3 wins from 3 and 3 goals for Arsenal. 3-0 against Atletico Madrid.
The wait is over for Gyökeres. It's a little bit fortunate how it comes to him. It's cut back to Eberechi Eze, who tries to scissor kick it from the edge of the area. It actually lands right at Gyökeres' feet, 4 yards from goal. He manages to get turned, kicks it towards goal, actually kicks it through Hancock, which redirects it away from Oblak. It's a bit ugly, it's a bit scruffy, but it doesn't matter. He's got his goal.
7 games without a goal since he scored against Nottingham Forest. And he has worked so hard tonight off the ball, Gyökeres. There's been a real appreciation of his efforts from the supporters around us, certainly. But that's what sometimes strikers are judged by, goals, as you know only too well.
Yeah, I think you're right there, Deno. I think the fans like him here, without any doubt. They like his work ethic, they like his robustness. And when he can add those goals on a regular basis, he'll become a cult hero.
I mean, it did take a deflection, as you say. It was a little bit of a scruffy goal. But at the end of the day, when he looks at his statistics, that'll be his 4th goal of the season. And that's all that matters to him in terms of confidence.
Without doubt, it does not matter how that ball hits the back of the net. He was the last Arsenal player to touch it, and as far as he's concerned, he's now scored and he'll be after more. How are Atletico going to react here?
Are you Tottenham in disguise, think the Arsenal supporters? By the way, last season when Atletico lost 4-0 at Benfica, that was their heaviest defeat away from home in European competition. The only time they've actually been beaten by a bigger margin was actually against Spurs in the 1963 European Cup Winners' Cup final that was held in Rotterdam when Spurs won by 5-1. So this is very much unlike Atletico Madrid, but tells you everything about the intensity that Arsenal are playing with, and it doesn't appear to be letting up either.
No, and after that second goal went in, they're all at sea. They've lost their organisation, they've lost their structure. Arsenal have smelt it. They can smell blood, they can smell another goal. Arsenal, the fans want it.
Thiago Almada is going to be coming on, an Argentine international, and Antoine Griezmann is also going to be coming on for Atletico Madrid as they trail 3-0 here on 5 Live. And Arsenal have a corner kick on this near side the left that Declan Rice is going to take, right-footed, delivered deep towards the far post. It's a 4th goal.
It's Gyökeres again.
Gyökeres arriving at the far post. The goals are flowing. Arsenal are flying. And they now lead Atletico Madrid by 4-0.
And there's absolutely no doubt about this one. It's his goal. I think it's Gabriel at the back post. Wins the ball again. Nods it back across. He's only a yard or two out Gyökeres. Just redirects it on target and wheels away. Second of the night, you wait so long for one and then 2 come at once. Wonderful night for him, wonderful night for Arsenal, and they're running away with this.
Well, they certainly are. So Arsenal now lead 4-0, and there's been another goal at Newcastle. Eli Barber.
And Newcastle aren't doing too badly either. They have doubled their lead, and Nick Pope has just been absolutely engulfed by his teammates. An incredible long throw from the goalkeeper to release Harvey Barnes, who showed great composure to put it across the goalkeeper, off the inside of the post and into the net for Newcastle's second of the evening. Newcastle 2, Benfica 0.
Not a bad night for the English sides, with Manchester City leading Villarreal by 2-0. Griezmann has come on for Simeone, and Sorloth, as Glenn Murray quite rightly predicted, has also gone off, as Thiago Almada, who joined in the summer from Botafogo, he was on loan at Lyon last season. The Argentine international comes on for Sorloth, and Arsenal are going to make a couple of changes. Now, Calafiore was stripped for action, but they've changed it around now, and Gabriel is going to come off, and Christian Mosquera is going to come on. Played, of course, for Valencia last season, £13 million signed in the summer, and we're also going to see Norgard coming on as well. So Christian Norgard is going to get a rare run out as well. Zubamendi is coming off, and I think Eze is the other player who's going to be coming off as well. So Nwaneri comes on for Eze, Norgard will replace Zubamendi. Glenn?
Yeah, I think good substitutes by Mikel Arteta. Zubamendi on a yellow card, Eze a little bit of rest. Gabriel, he's like a special card for them, isn't he? Whenever the games are tight, comes up so many times with set-piece goals. Got an assist on that one as well. Gets a well-earned rest on the evening.
4 goals in 13 minutes.
Yeah, they've just blown Atletico away, haven't they?
Newcastle United 2, Benfica 0. Manchester City lead Villarreal by 2-0. And Arsenal here underlining their tag of favourites for the Champions League. I mean, what a season this could be for them, and still yet to concede. They have literally blitzed Atletico Madrid. Well, not literally, of course, but you know what I mean, from a football.
I mean, they showed potentially they could do it in the first half, but they couldn't quite find that killer pass, that right finish. The second half, they've just upped it a gear, haven't they? First went in, second quickly after. Absolutely dismantled this Atletico Madrid team, and all of a sudden, it's the stillest I've seen Diego Simeone down on the touchline there. I think he's shell-shocked.
Well, I mentioned that defeat they suffered at the Estadio de Luz last year. This is their joint heaviest defeat away from home. No, their joint heaviest defeat in European competition. Leidorman clatters into to Declan Rice. He's shown now a yellow card. The frustration is starting to boil over.
It wasn't. It was through Gyökeres.
Was it?
They've given him a real rough ride, Jimenez and Limon at Nomad.
Yeah, so he has he's back on his feet, is Gyökeres. Scored that hat-trick against Manchester City for Sporting in the Champions League. Diego, what's the score, is the chant from the supporters who sit near and behind the dugouts here at the Emirates. Arsenal, with a quarter of an hour to go, are leading by 4-0. Who was it who said, I'm not expecting many goals tonight? But Arsenal, their desire, their hunger levels haven't diminished yet. Alvarez out wide to this right-hand side. In comes the cross. Shot from Baena, blocked there by Mosquera. Rice puts it out of play for a throw. And Inter are matching Arsenal as well, because they now lead Union Saint-Gilloise by 4-0.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit different in the quality of the opposition, though, Deno.
Very much so. This was an Atletico Madrid side that came here in good heart, unbeaten in 6. Although while they've won 10 of their last 11 at home in the Champions League, they are a different proposition on their travels. They have only won 4 of their last 11, if you want to equate it like for like. As Griezmann looking for the return ball. Saka though with the interception. Rice gets the ball up towards Gyökeres. stretches to lay it off, and then ball passed back towards Lewis Skelly. But there is a confidence and he's oozing through these Arsenal players.
Yeah, even the substitutes, everyone knows their role. There's a real belief in the ranks here at Arsenal.
Sheffield United have now got a third goal. Blackburn Rovers 1, Sheffield United 3. And there's a stoppage in play here at the Emirates, which gives us an opportunity for everybody, on behalf of everybody at 5 Live, just to send our thoughts to Stuart Pearce and his family at such a difficult time following the tragic loss of his son Harley. You're in our thoughts, Stuart. 13 minutes to go to full time. Arsenal leading 4-0. Newcastle 2, Benfica 0, Villarreal 0, Manchester City 2. Here, Atletico Madrid with Griezmann. Gets the ball out wide. Alvarez still looking busy. On the overlap on that far side is Ruggeri. Shot comes in. Well claimed and well held by David Raya.
Yeah, he does well there. Little underlapping run. Can't quite stay with him. Manages to dig it out. Thiago. Raya is very much equal to it. Tried to squeeze it in his near post. Nice height for the Arsenal goalkeeper.
Napoli are down to 10 men. Lorenzo Luca has been sent off as they trail 3-1 away in the Netherlands against PSV. Ball over the top towards Gyökeres. It's a bouncing ball. Lenormand will head it away from the Swede, and then Hanko will let that ball settle. But 4 goals against good quality opposition and a clean sheet. Doesn't really get much better for Mikel Arteta. As here is Waneri on that far side. Infield to Norgard, and also the nature of the scoreline, Glenn, it means he can then rest players for this busy schedule ahead of the game against Crystal Palace, your former side.
Yeah, without doubt. Obviously a tricky opposition. Crystal Palace going really well at the moment. Like you say, he's managed to take some of these big hitters off here. Just give them an extra 20 minutes, half an hour rest on the evening. It's such a nice balance, this Arsenal squad. Really have got 2 players for every position.
We're on air until 10:30. We'll try and bring you as much live reaction as we can. If not, it'll be in the 5 Live Football Daily Pod tomorrow. Tony Livesey takes over from Kelly at 10:30 here on 5 Live. Borussia Dortmund have got a third goal in Copenhagen. Copenhagen 1, Borussia Dortmund 3. Credit to the Atletico supporters on that far side, all 3,000 of them still singing away, swaying in their red and white scarves held aloft for what has been a disappointing night. And yet, had Alvarez's effort so early on in the second half, what was it, 4 minutes into the second period, not hit the crossbar and gone in, that spectacular effort from the former Manchester City player, could have been such a different story. But then since then, Arsenal have just swept aside the challenge of this Atletico team, and still they look for more goals. Declan Rice to take a free kick. It's not within shooting distance. Who will ever forget those 2 crackers against Real Madrid in the Champions League last season?
It's not too dissimilar position to the Gabriel goal.
Yeah, I was just thinking. Again, it was on the left-hand side. It was an in-swinger on that occasion. Atletico Madrid, you would think, would be mindful of where this is going to go. The Arsenal players are gathering on the edge of the area. They're going to make that run in. Rice with his left arm aloft. In it goes now. It's another teasing one. And the referee's whistle is blown, and it'll be a free kick to Atletico Madrid.
I think the closest man was Norgard. Just had to put the brakes on, give a free kick away. But in those situations, Declan Rice, he's always right on the money, isn't he? Always causes problems, asks questions of defences and goalkeepers.
Latest scores in the Football League. Swindon have got a chance to go top only if they win, drawing 2-2 at home to Notts County. Reading, though, are going to move out of the relegation zone in League One as they lead Northampton by 1-0. In the Championship, the latest scores: Blackburn Rovers 1, Sheffield United 3. That'll take Chris Wilder's side out of the relegation zone. Derby County leading Norwich by 1-0. Norwich, who are 6 without a win before tonight. Hull City lead Leicester by 2-1. Ipswich 0, Charlton 3, Millwall 2, Stoke City 0, Portsmouth 0, Coventry City 2. So the leaders will go 4 points clear of Middlesbrough. It'll be a 6th straight win and a 6th successive clean sheet. Preston North End 0, Birmingham City 1, and Bristol City 3, Southampton 1. That means that it'll be 1 win in 9 for Southampton. In fact, Sheffield United have won by 3-1. But there has been a goal at Fratton Park. Chris Wise.
And that Coventry clean sheet record has gone in the 6th minute of stoppage time. Mackenzie Kirk for Pompey, lobbing goalkeeper Carl Rushworth. So it's now Portsmouth 1, Coventry 2, 60 seconds to play.
So there will be no 6th straight clean sheet for Frank Lampard's side. But there will be a 5th straight win, it would seem, as they maintain their unbeaten record. And Arsenal are going to make another change, and we're going to see Ben White and Merino coming on. And as we do that, another goal at St James's Park for Ailey Barber.
And Newcastle are going to pick up back-to-back Champions League victories for the first time in 22 years, because they have surely put this one out of sight for Benfica. Beautiful play from Anthony Gordon. He has been immense tonight. Played in Harvey Barnes, the substitute. Again, composed finish to get his 2nd of the night. Newcastle 3, Benfica 0.
Ben White will replace Timber, and a standing ovation for Gyökeres with his 2 goals as Merino comes on for him. As we go to John Akers watching Villarreal Manchester City.
Manchester City still leading by 2-0. Savinho was brilliant down the right all night. He's gone off. He had a right foot shot saved by the keeper before he went off. And Villarreal have had their only real chances of the game. Gay with a shot saved by Donnarumma, and Pepe with a header wide. It's Villarreal 0, Manchester City 2.
PSV have got a 4th goal against the 10 men of Napoli, 4-1 that they lead. We know about Portsmouth 1, Coventry City 2. And the full times, Ipswich 0, Charlton 3, and also full time now in that solitary game in League 2. But we'll just hold on, because Martinelli comes breaking forward for Arsenal. Plays the ball in field towards Rice. Rice now towards Saka. Saka enters the penalty area. Saka looks for his head up, gets the shot away, blocked. So Ross Heaton full time at the county ground.
Swindon 2, Notts County 2. 2 equalisers from Drina move the Robins a point off the leaders Walsall. Grant and Jatta gave Notts hope of moving into the playoffs, but they end the night in 8th place. It's finished Swindon 2, Notts County 2.
Just wonder where the score lines for the English sides tonight will propel Manchester City to. Look at the live league table. Manchester City will go up to 5th. Newcastle will go on the fringes of the top 8. Remember, the top 8 automatically qualifies. This is Gallagher with an opportunity, and even now he still can't get a consolation, because the referee wouldn't have counted anyway. The referee's blown his whistle, but Raya was equal to it to make the save. So Newcastle would go to, in fact, as a result, Newcastle now go to 7th. So Newcastle, Manchester City join Arsenal in the top 8. Still a long way to go in this league phase, of course.
Yeah, I like the league phase, Deno. The new setup.
I do.
Brings a lot more jeopardy, doesn't it?
Yeah. Full time now at Fratton Park. Chris.
And Coventry have hung on. They've beaten Portsmouth by 2-1, so they extend their lead at the top to 4 points. 11 games unbeaten at the start of this championship season. The 2 goals from Brandon Thomas Asante for Coventry. Some late nerves because of that Mackenzie Kirk goal for Portsmouth. But Coventry really do look the business. Portsmouth 1, Coventry 2.
Arsenal look the business on tonight's evidence, don't they, Glenn?
They do indeed. They've been good tonight. They come up against a tough test. A team that wouldn't give in. But they've largely controlled the game. Just couldn't find that deadlock for quite a while, but I think one of the most impressive things is they kept their composure. They kept doing what they did. And do you know what? I think it was Andros said it at the top of the show about they've got so many different ways that they can score goals, and sometimes to break a deadlock it is a set piece.
Griezmann's forward, Almada, and the ball knocks over the top. Gallagher makes the run forward, angle is tight, might get a corner out of it, he does. Full time at Millwall, Aaron Paul.
Millwall 2, Stoke 0. First half goals from Femi Aziz and Tristan Kramer seal a big 3 points for the Lions, who came under pressure in the second half but never looked in any danger. Millwall leapfrogging Stoke into 3rd with the win. They've beaten Stoke by 2-0, and here come status quo, 2-0.
Yeah, Millwall now just a point behind second place Middlesbrough. The only games that are being played in the Championship as Baena sends over a cross, and it's hooked away almost on the goal line by Wanyeri at the far post. Didn't go out of play. Raya got too much underneath it. Hull still lead Leicester City 2-1. Preston 0, Birmingham 1. And in an 8 o'clock kickoff, as a shot is fired wide, Bristol City lead Southampton by 3-1. We've got 4 minutes remaining. And Arsenal 4, Atletico Madrid 0. But before that goal went in, the first goal went in, Atletico Madrid, it was a good contest. The scoreline, I don't think, necessarily tells the whole story, the wide picture.
No, like you say, I think the game was very much in the balance at half-time. Atletico started the second half really well. Alvarez hits that shot from outside the area, careers off Raya's crossbar. From that point on, it was almost a wake-up call for Arsenal. And like you said, the next 15 minutes, they just absolutely blew Atletico away. And I do actually feel for Atletico, because they've not played that bad. They don't deserve to be going home and being humbled the way they have, but Arsenal's potential is absolutely frightening. What they can do, the strength they have, the players they have, the balance, they look the real deal.
Napoli, and a second goal of the night for Scott McTominay, have got a second goal, but they're still trailing by 4-2 now in Eindhoven. Just keeping my eye on the Atletico section away towards our right. I think there's a minor disturbance. There's a bit of stewards' involvement there. It's just where the two sets of supporters, and the segregation is quite tight in that area of the ground away towards our right. 4-0, under 3 minutes remaining. Llorente passes the ball to Hanko.
It's one of those nights, as an away player, you don't want to see any minutes go up on the board. You just want to get out of here, take your medicine and move on.
Well, they have to wait until Monday night before the next in action against Real Betis. Their game's still to come in the Champions League, as they are forward with Ruggeri, who sends over a cross. Lewis Skelly heads it away. They've got Union Saint-Gilloise at home, Inter at home, PSV away, Galatasaray away, and Bodo Glimt also to play in January. Atletico Madrid, you would still think, would feature in the knockout stages of the competition, as PSV have scored a 5th goal and are now leading Napoli by 5-2. Elsewhere in the Champions League, earlier on, Barcelona beat Olympiacos 6-1, 2 goals for Marcus Rashford. Kairat 0, Paphos 0, despite being down to 10 men as early as the 4th minute when Carrera was sent off for Paphos, who also had a goal disallowed. Elsewhere then, Bayer Leverkusen 2, Paris Saint-Germain 6. Both teams have had a man sent off, Andrik and Zabani respectively. Copenhagen 1, Borussia Dortmund 3. Newcastle lead Benfica 3-0. PSV 5, Napoli 2. Napoli down to 10 men. And Union Saint-Gilloise 0, Inter Milan 4. In fact, Borussia Dortmund have just got a 4th goal in Denmark. Copenhagen 1, Borussia Dortmund 4. So 60 seconds remain of normal time. Full time though in the Championship at Hull City. Sarah Mulkerrins.
Hull 2, Leicester 1, a victory built on the first half. The host played with real verve. Liam Miller and Joe Gelhardt put them 2-0 up at the break. Aaron Ramsey then pulled one back. Lovely chipped finish. Harry Winks hit the post as Leicester pushed for an equaliser. They drop out of the playoffs with the hosts up to 7th. It's ended Hull 2, Leicester 1.
It's also finished at Deepdale, and Preston have lost their unbeaten home record in the league, as Birmingham City, who had only had 1 win in their previous 7, have beaten Preston by 1-0. The only latest score is Bristol City 3, Southampton 1. This is 5 Live. We'll have as much reaction as we can. Guillaume Balaguer, Glenn Murray, Andros Townsend with Kelly Cates through until 10:30. But I'll try and bring you the reaction from Mikel Arteta, who will be jubilant, I am sure, with this ultra impressive display as Saka on the right controls the ball, tries to nick it into the path of Merino running forward, cleared by Atletico Madrid. Mosquera steps forward. Lewis Skelly, Alvarez still full of running, puts up pressure on, but there's a freshness about Mosquera as the substitute, and he sees it back towards David Raya. And it's going to be a 15th straight win at home in the group stages stroke league phase of UEFA competition here, and a 12th successive clean sheet. The statistics for Arsenal at the minute just speak for themselves. They've got that solid platform, but they've got a ruthlessness in front of goal. And they've got the strength in depth. They seem to have it all at the moment, Glenn.
Yeah, they do indeed. But the squad that he's put together is quite frightening, actually, and it kind of happened over time. A lot of questions, and they slipped away from second when they ended in second place over the last couple of seasons. But this group, it seems to have galvanised them even more. There seems to be an even bigger hunger, not around just the players, but the club itself.
Saka into the feet of Merino, heavy touch, edge of the area, unable for Atletico Madrid to get the ball away. If Paris Saint-Germain won the first set, 6-2 they lead against Bayer Leverkusen, then PSV have won the second set because they're now 6-2 up against Napoli elsewhere in the Champions League. Goals galore. Don't forget, Champions League match of the day 22-11 on BBC One tomorrow night. We might have to extend the show the way it's going. We've seen here 4 for ourselves tonight with Arsenal, and everybody's wanting to chip in. The substitutes are wanting to try and impress Mikel Arteta, who made just a couple of changes at the start as the ball from Barrios forward. Arsenal again win the ball, and now it's picked back up, and this is that Wanyeri just couldn't get the shot away on the edge of the area. And here is Norgard, passes the ball to Wanyeri, might break in field towards Merino, he keeps it alive. Wanyeri! That was one for the cameras for Oblak, just diving away towards his right, and a comfortable two-handed save. But in 3 minutes of added on time, even now Arsenal are still looking for more goals.
Yeah, that would have been the icing on the cake. Wanyeri getting on the score sheet, just gets it on that lovely left foot of his, and he's looking for that far corner. Oblak reads it really well, and it's a bit of a tired save from the Atletico Madrid goalkeeper. It's been a long evening.
Certainly has for Atletico Madrid. A little bit beleaguered now with the scoreline. And it's now over at St James's Park. Ailey Barber.
A brilliant performance from Newcastle. They every bit deserved a comfortable scoreline, and it could have been even more. Anthony Gordon superb tonight as Newcastle dominated. He got the opening goal. He played in Harvey Barnes for the third. He was a threat all night. The first half a good contest, but Newcastle really comfortable. It finished Newcastle 3, Benfica 0.
Finished here 4-0 as well, and also over in Villarreal. John Akers.
Good night for City, very comfortable indeed. Villarreal 0, Manchester City 2, both the goals in the first half. Erling Haaland again, 15 and 11 for him. That's 12 straight games in a row he scored for club and country. And then Bernardo Silva with the second after a really good cross from Savinho. A header unmarked from the edge of the 6-yard box. As it stands, City up to 5th, Villarreal 0, Manchester City 2.
A fantastic 4 as far as Arsenal are concerned, as they've maintained their perfect record at the start of this Champions League campaign. 3 wins from 3, and still one of 2 sides who are yet to concede in this league phase after 3 rounds so far. And the way that they took apart Atletico Madrid in the second half was something to behold, Glenn Murray.
Yeah, it was indeed. Like we've said on a number of occasions now, the game was in the balance. Atletico threatened at times, but Arsenal were patient, and then they just hit Atletico quick, sharp. 2 goals in quick succession. Set piece by Gabriel, a bit of desire to break the deadlock, and from that point on Atletico pretty much crumbled. Didn't see that coming in the first half, but the manner that Arsenal brushed them away and then managed the game from that point was absolutely exceptional.
Well, 4 goals in 13 minutes, with Gabriel with a header from a Rice free kick. Lewis Skelly set up Martinelli with a first-time finish, and then 2 goals from Gyökeres. The first a scruffy effort to end his goal drought, the second a far post header from a Rice corner. It has been a very impressive performance, Kelly. Arsenal 4, Atletico Madrid 0.
Ian Dennis and Glenn Murray at the Emirates for us for that huge win for Arsenal. Also with us this evening, Guillaume Balaguer and Andros Townsend. Andros, as the guys have described, it was in the balance for a long time, that game, but Arsenal turned it on its head with a set piece, as you would expect, but from then on, it was all Arsenal.
It was, and that just shows the importance of set piece in the way Arsenal play, because the game was in the balance. And if you're Simeone going into half time, you're thinking, okay, we've kept Arsenal at bay, we've had some counter-attacking opportunities, could have scored one, looking threatening, but then 50 minutes of set-piece goal. All of a sudden the game changes. He has to make a triple substitution. His two wingers who were on the back line in the first half all of a sudden have to press high up the pitch. Arsenal go down the other end, it's 2-0 and it's game over. So yeah, a thoroughly impressive second half and professional second half from Arsenal.
Yeah, all undone. In 13 minutes those 4 goals were scored. Guillaume, what did you make of it?
It was Martinelli's fault on Llorente, not the other way around. Should we mention that? That's the first set piece. I think that's quite clear. But would have Atletico Madrid lasted longer with 0-0 and trying to even score? I doubt it, because as the game progressed, the physique was missing for Atletico Madrid. The 50-50s were won by Arsenal. There were more fouls, there were more set pieces, more spaces open, and it would have come at some point. I think things that seem clear at this stage from Atletico Madrid's point of view is that Simeone cannot put a team in the cave, in their own box, because they're not good enough, the players that he's got to do that. They don't have enough goals in them. There is not enough layers to dominate. They're not good enough to keep the ball. There is not enough maturity to change dynamics of games. So they're not a top team at the level of certainly this Arsenal, but many others.
Having said all of that, it was still an impressive performance from Arsenal. Really, really professional was the word that you described it as, Andros. 4-0 against Atletico Madrid. They've got maximum points from their opening 3 games in the Champions League, and they haven't conceded a goal yet.
And it's so important, we said at the top of the programme, in this Champions League format, first and foremost they need to avoid the playoff round in the turn of the year, but also they need to have the ability, after this international break in November, it's full on Premier League and Champions League, so they need to have the ability to maybe rest players in the last couple of games. So to go strong now, get your points on the board early, will stand them in good stead going into that sort of run between November and January, where it's just game.
And Deno, he did make changes towards the end, didn't he, Mikel Arteta, to try and trying to bring some of those squad players in. But because the goals were sort of scored in the middle of the second half, he couldn't really do it much earlier.
So the nature of the goals, I mean, at one point Calafiore was stripped for action, was going to come on, and then that was just when they got the second goal through Luis Skelly, who probably would have been coming off. He was influential, driving at the heart of the Atletico defence, and then setting up Martinelli for that second goal. And in the end, Calafiore never featured, but Norgard did, Wanyeri did, Merino came on the bench as well. We also had a run out for Ben White, because the schedule is unrelenting at this stage. They've got Palace at home on Sunday, they've got Brighton next week in the League Cup also at home. So just to give, and in fact Mosquera came on for Gabriel, so he was still able to rest a number of players after only making 2 changes from the Fulham game at the weekend.
Glenn, that Arsenal performance, I mean, Guillaume outlined some of the failings of Atletico Madrid there, but that Arsenal performance and the way they tilted the game in their favour in the middle stages of that second half. How impressive did you find it?
Yeah, I was really impressed with Arsenal. I was impressed with their patience and the way they went about the business. But I think he makes a really good point. We look at Atletico and Diego Simeone as kind of probably powerhouse is a wrong word on European football, but they're a stronger team at this level. But that group out there wasn't tonight. They hung on until 1-0 and then completely Arsenal just blew them away at that point. Once they broke that deadlock and Atletico had nothing to protect, then the game was pretty much done. And from that point on, Arsenal just ran all over them, physicality wise, power wise. They just absolutely bullied them.